Hello everyone, this is Larry Kevin for another issue of My Line in the Sand. This is part of the tutorial services. And you're looking here at my twin grandbabies, Matthew and Jordan. And I'm going to be talking quietly because they're upstairs sound asleep. It's 12:30 a.m. and I don't want to wake them up because you can see they're into my pots and pans. And if I get them in the pots and pans at 1 o'clock in the morning and wake up my family, I'll be out in the doghouse. Here's another picture of them at their birthday party. So they're just really love balloons. Try to get that pointer out of the way. All right, let's get busy. Start with week 7. In week 7, I weighed in on Monday, and then as you can see, I had a snowboard trip for 2 weeks. Now, what happens in vacations for me, of course I don't want to weigh in, and I don't want to think about dieting. I'm eating like a pig, just having a great time. What was kind of interesting though, this doesn't happen usually, is I came back from my vacation, weighed in on Wednesday at 219, which was under my line in the sand of 221. And so that was tickled pink. I don't know how in the world that happened. Of course, snowboarding, even though I'm eating a lot, snowboarding really takes it out. I mean, every night I was dead tired. They're out in Utah, and boy, those slopes just kill you. Well, I had a Thursday weigh-in, and then a Friday weigh-in, so all those are under 220. So do I get a new line in the sand of 220? No. Why? Well, as you remember, you have to have 5 weigh-ins under a certain weight to make that your new line in the sand. I didn't have 5 consecutive ones. Even though the next week, in week 9, I weighed in on Monday and Tuesday. That's 5 in a row. But since I didn't weigh in consecutively, the weekends I didn't weigh in, I didn't count it as a line in the sand. And this is where things went to pot, because I went on my winter camp out. We go down and but my buddies and I, and we'll hammock camp and build our campfires and just eat like crazy. Wonderful time. Well, after the camp out, I came back in and I had some black days. All these black days are over my line in the sand. And then, after the winter camp out and having 3 bad days, I just wasn't in the mood to diet or anything. And that's okay because, remember, I only have to record 50 weigh-ins per 13 weeks. That's a quarter of a year. So 50 weigh-ins every 13 weeks. And I'm going to get that even if I took, some days off. And I don't take my weekends off, or I don't weigh in on the weekends, so those don't count either. And you still have plenty. All right, so 3 bad weigh-ins. Then Thursday came, and then I was just not in the mood again. Well, what happened here? Remember, in order to keep a line in the sand, which mine was 221, from that week on, which this is week 5, from that week on, you have to have 75% of your weigh-ins under that weight. Well, what happened here? In week 12, you see this red, my line in the sand. I backed up my line in the sand. And that's a bad thing, and luckily that only happened twice in 2007. Right now, and then it happened at the end of the year. Well, then I had to go back to my next line in the sand, which is 223. And since week 4, all the way up to week 12, 75% of my weigh-ins were under 223. So I still have 223. So I lost 221, 222, but I didn't lose 223. Now, let's talk a little bit about philosophies and what my line in the sand is all about. Remember, when we draw a line in the sand, we're saying we're not going to gain anymore. I've quit gaining in my life. And so I started at 233, and then what happens with most people is, they have these 6 weeks like I had, 6 great weeks. I had a lot of new records. Look at all these blue. All these blues are new lows. So new world records for me, new lows for that year. 6 great weeks. And then I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bad weeks. And as a matter of fact, my line in the sand at 223 goes all the way back to that fourth week. So what? The way most people look at this is saying, all right, I've been dieting, working out for 12 weeks, and now I'm no further off than I was week 4. And that really depresses them, and so they go off their diet and they say, what's the use? But no, 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 no. Because if you notice, week 13 was a good week, and I even got a new line in the sand of 220. Now, would I like to have that line in the sand 220 up here in week 6? Absolutely. But it's not going to happen that way. You cannot constantly lose weight straight in a row. It just won't happen. And so I'm fine with that. Matter of fact, if I don't lose another weight, if I end the year with my line in the sand at 220, let's look at that for a second. If I end the year with my weight at 220, my line in the sand, that's 13 pounds less than what I started in 2007. So isn't that okay? That's fine. That's great. That's something to celebrate. As you can see, I actually lose quite a bit more, but I don't have to. And that's the thing I want. I want you to. We're celebrating success. If we don't gain weight, we have success. That's the thing. Is I don't want to weigh 280 pounds and then 320 pounds and then get a hover around to get around and then all that. So we'll stop there, week 12, and we'll go on in the next movie from there and probably finish up.
It's
But
4:30.
this actually was a great year, and that's why I don't want you to get discouraged when you go through these black periods, because as you see me, I had 6 great weeks, then 6 horrible weeks, and then we'll just look a little ahead. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 good weeks, and then kind of back and forth, and then I have about another 7 bad weeks, mainly because I'm on vacation and I'm partying. So it goes up and down, but at the end of the year we're celebrating because it's a very successful year. All right, we'll see you all. I don't think we woke up the boys, so that's good, and I'll see you next time.